Thank you. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted and honored to be here to attend the 17th annual Alfred Korzybski Memorial Lecture and participate in the symposium. I am grateful to the Institute of General Semantics and Landstrade for their every support to make my presence here possible. Our cooperation with Lens started in 2021 when he kindly agreed to present at the webinar Ecolinguistics, Ecology, and the anthropomorphic profile of war in social and psycholinguistic dimensions. It's a webinar held within ecolinguistic modes of Ukrainian discursive space in the European Multicultural Continuum project funded by the National Research Foundation in Ukraine. The grantee is Taras Shevchenko National University of Kiev. In June 2022, my colleague Professor Olena Marina and I, as well as Professor Olena Materinska, a participant of the project I am reporting about today, presented at the online symposium of the Institute of General Semantics. Today, I am honored to present the project Ecolinguistic Modes of Discursive Space of Ukraine in the European Multicultural Continuum developed under my supervision in Ukraine. I will focus on the main objectives of the project, its participants, and some findings. The present day demand and trends towards ecology of life in general and eco-products, eco-cosmetics, eco-housing, eco-transport, and eco-tourism in particular foster their overall research within the area of ecological studies with a special focus on ecolinguistics. In its turn, ecolinguistics has a philosophical, ontological, cultural, and social background, predetermining elaboration of new linguistic fields such as linguistic ecology of Ukrainian as a state language, ecology of translation, ecological discursive studies, ecological pragmalinguistics, etc., which are bound to the processes and mechanisms of ecological terminology functioning in linguistics. Example, language, speech, ecosystem, eco-consciousness, language, speech, eco-environment, milieu, ecological portrait of language. Our project rests on the idea that contemporary globalized world with its powerful informatization of all life spheres preconditions rapid transformation and integration of national discursive spaces into multicultural. We offer the concept of development of ecolinguistic modes of the Ukrainian discursive space in the European multicultural continuum as elements of harmonious integration and at the same time preservation of national and linguistic identity and self-identification. On the one hand, this concerns natural and social dominance of language and speech of the Ukrainian language culture is reflected in the sense of language communicative eco-consciousness of the representatives of the society as such as terminological notions, dialects, concepts, historical texts, discursive practices, etc., which are semiotized by the society and environment in the contemporary European milieu, multicultural one. On the other hand, they themselves form discursive space of a certain epoch, being an indicator of language and culture, self-identification, and influencing the preservation of national identity. Under ecological modes, we understand cognitive and semiotic structures of language, communicative eco-consciousness formed by the environment and milieu in the representatives of certain language culture. These structures are defined by natural and social dominance of language and speech and function in certain discursive space. The project focuses on the ecocentric model of individual collective consciousness, which is primarily responsible for the spiritual aspect in ensuring environmentally comfortable living as an individual and specific social groups and a particular nation as a whole. Therefore, the relevant perspective of the study is of great theoretical and practical importance, as it helps to develop a system of linguistic and environmental security aimed at multifaceted protection and development of the national language, including its purity, accuracy, integrity, in performing essential functions and promotion of its image and prestige in all spheres of society. In modern multicultural society, forming a comfortable ecological, linguistic, and cultural space is extremely important. Given the Ukrainian context, the primary focus is on the influence of the English-speaking culture and linguistic cultures of Eastern nations, which nowadays determine the social consciousness development vectors in the globalized continuum. In these circumstances, it's necessary to clearly define and explore assimilation processes of foreign without losing one's native features and predict the impact of these processes on the further development of the Ukrainian language and culture. The novelty of the project lies in outlining meta language of ecolinguistics as one of the fields of applied linguistics and designing a specific methodology of analysis which offers a symbiosis of the tools of science and humanities. The applied aspect of the novelty resides on the presentation and use of the obtained results connected with the systemic characteristic of ecolinguistic modes of the discursive space of Ukraine in the European multicultural continuum. The project team has been working on the following issues: characteristics of the dynamic processes in natural and social dominance of Ukrainian dialectal and standardized language in prognostic ecolinguistic mode, parameterization of ecolinguistic mode of language policy and social dominant of speech, and highlighting of their links with language situation of discursive space of Ukraine as a component of European multicultural continuum in diachrony and synchrony, of lexicographic mode of ecolinguistics, namely documentation of natural and social dominance of language and speech by means of compiling the first in the history Ukrainian-Lithuanian dictionary. And one of the results I have here, this dictionary, Ukrainian-Lithuanian dictionary, first in the history. As well as more specified dictionaries of neologisms and idiomatic units in the language of media, of literary speech, dialectology, folklore, of Ukrainian language, as well as thematic, frequency, and contrastive dictionaries of Ukrainian folklore, in particular in the context of the implementation of Ukrainian spelling rules and law of Ukraine on ensuring the functioning of Ukrainian as the state language 2019 popularization of your Ukrainian image, creation of reference and information system, internet resources such as a thematic page on Facebook, etc. The project description and findings are presented on the project website and Facebook. At present, Ukraine is experiencing hard and tragic times. We Ukrainians are fighting for our independence, freedom, values, and our national identity. We strongly believe in our victory, being physically and spiritually strong. We are grateful to the world that it stands with us. Thank you. Дякую за увагу. Yeah.